Okay, this is going to be a quick recap of what took place after the last 48 hours or so. On one of the earlier updates, the battery had died on the car and it was deader than a doornail. So I decided to hike on out of here, threw everything in the backpack, which was quite a load, let me tell you. Hiked it out 3.5 miles to the freeway. Got out there. Oh, I'd say I was out there an hour or so, maybe two. It's hard to say sometimes. I lose track of time out here. I mean, how's it not? Okay, let's get back on it. All right, so I'm out there at the on ramp, and up pulls this gentleman in a black truck, and he says, "Well, where's anywhere?" Because my sign said anywhere. I said, "Well, it's anywhere." He said, "Well, where is anywhere? I mean, isn't there a point? Isn't it supposed to be somewhere?" And I said, "It's anywhere. Anywhere I go is anywhere." He said, "Well, do you want to go to Missoula?" And I said, "Well, sure. It's got to be better than here, right?" So I jump in the truck. He's drinking coffee. He had been out on the 30-mile drive through the mountains that he does on Sunday. It was a beautiful day for a drive, he said, so he ran out and did it. And he smoked Winston cigarettes, which is a strange thing for me because, the other story about Red down there in California, he smoked Winston cigarettes too. But this guy drives me into Missoula and drops me off and hands me $10. He's a pretty special guy, really. Not just for the $10, but all in all, it was a really good experience with him. The ride down was nice, everything. So then I tried to go to the east. Well, that wasn't happening. I ended up sleeping there beside the on ramp there in the rocky ground. And I threw my tent fly over the sleeping bag because it looked like rain. And it rained all flipping night. Everything was wet. Everything was soaked. It was horrible. So I decided I am going back to the car. So I moved myself back over to the other side of the freeway, and now I'm going west. And I was there pacing up and down that on ramp for like 3 hours, and just pacing back and forth. And I was, come on, you could get me a ride right now if you wanted to. You're just toying with me, just frustrated with the whole thing. I just wanted to get moving. And then, like always, eventually you get tired of it, and I start fiddling around with the garbage on the side of the roads and shit like that, and looking at things, and pretty soon I turn around, there's a car. And there was this younger guy in there, and he says, "Well, I'm going to, just a couple of miles up the road here, and I can give you a ride at least that far." And I said, "Well, it's outside the city, right?" And he said, "Yeah, it'll be outside the city." I said, "Well, that's easier to get somebody going north." So I said, "Sure." We climbed in that little Dodge of his, and it was a tight fit with my backpack. He had to make space for me. He had to empty out the seat. But I got in there, and he was a nice guy, really nice guy. He ended up driving me right to the exit where he let me off, and he told me, he said, "I will be here 9 p.m. sharp tonight. If you don't find a jump, I will be here with a jump box at 9 p.m. on this exit." Of course, I was too exhausted last night and I couldn't go down to see, but I am guaranteeing you he pulled onto that exit with that jump box because that's the kind of person he was. So I got out and I hiked back in here. I'm 3.5 miles again. Oh, man, up and down, all over. My legs are still killing me. Got in here, figured I'm going to sit in the car, just take a nap or something. So I sat in the car and I thought I took a nap, but evidently not. And it was kind of cloudy, so I was like, he said 9 o'clock, and everything is dead. I've got nothing is alive. The phone's not alive. Nothing's alive. 9 o'clock. So I finally said, oh, it's got to be like 5 or 6 o'clock. And I hiked out of here. So I hiked back out the 3.5 miles. By the time I got to the end of that, I was walking like Jesus, really slow. But about halfway out, I'm whining. I'm gonna walk this whole thing again. A guy stops and he says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just exhausted." And he said, "Everything else other than that is fine?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay," and drove off. I forgot to tell him my battery was dead. Oh, God, I wouldn't have had to walk the rest of the way, probably. But I ended up walking all the way out to the freeway, and I was standing out there with my sign. I wrote a little sign on a white cue card that said, "Dead battery, need jump." And I was standing there, and everybody ignored that sign. Everybody ignored that sign out here. It's like they couldn't see the sign. Strange, really strange behavior. I even commented how strange the behavior was. But finally, all of a sudden, this silver, I don't know, suburban-ish Escalade or something pulled up, and the window rolled down, and she says, "Do you have cables?" And I said, "No." And she says, "Well, let me see what I can do. I'm headed out here. My husband's out here at the in-laws." And long story short, she ended up finding out he had the jumper cables. He would meet us halfway, and halfway was about where my car was. So they both came in here and jumped the vehicle, and then they took off and thanked him, and they were really, really good people. Marital problem, but that's not my business, right? Anyway, that is the story of how it all happened. And now I'm sitting here, the car is charged, and my phone cable is broken, so I can do only a few videos, and then I can't upload them. It shuts down the whole thing. Anyway, we gotta move, right? Subscribe, like, share. Hang in there. I'm homeless. I'm homeless in this car. And I refuse to be homeless anywhere but where it's beautiful. Loving the dream.